Welcome to Powercoat Music. In this video, we're going to talk about near-field monitoring. We're going to do a quick introduction and also go into a summary on the topic. Many home studios have good quality reference monitors, but still struggle to get good quality mixdowns. In this presentation, we are going to take a look at, some of the primary and often overlooked reasons as to why that is. You're not going to want to miss this because this may affect you. And with all of the investment and time that you have into your home studio, wouldn't it be wise to make sure that it doesn't? So with this, let's start at the very beginning. In the early days of recording, most studios use big monitor speakers almost exclusively. You've seen the pictures, and unfortunately, they also use high-powered amplifiers and expensive acoustic treatments, usually poorly done, all throughout the control room. A well-constructed big monitoring system was really impressive to listen to. If you've ever had the opportunity back in the day to go into one of these, really cool studios and hear that wall of sound. This fact was not overlooked by the big studio owners who were usually looking to impress record company executives who paid for the big studio's time. Clients enjoyed cranking it up back then, and of course we still do. Fortunately, recording engineers and producers eventually learned that this was not the best and most accurate way to mix music. Okay, this was because people didn't listen to music that way. They listened to music on their radios, cassette players, and CD players, which was a totally different environment, right? Now, big monitoring systems back then and the cost for all these acoustic treatments in their control room, they were getting pretty expensive. So, and not only that, they were beyond the budgets of, project studios and small home studios like mine, which were growing rapidly. With this, a new way of accurate monitoring was needed. And as a result, near-field monitoring was born. Near-field monitors, by definition, were intended to be mounted close to the listener. The idea is that this was to improve the direct acoustic path between the speaker and the listener by making it shorter. Okay, this gives less opportunity for the always present kind of reflected sounds to get back in and muddle up the mix. With near-field monitoring, the surrounding acoustic environment becomes much less a significant factor in establishing the monitor system's sound character. A good set of small monitors, properly placed in a reasonably unreverberant room and powered by a 150-watt amplifier, will yield pretty surprisingly accurate results, at budget prices. I think we've discovered this over the years. Today, near-field monitors and desktop multimedia monitors are standard and, used in thousands of studios worldwide, unlike other bookshelf type speakers. These new, or should I say near-field and desktop multimedia monitors are designed to be listened to for hours at a time without causing ear fatigue. They can also handle loud frequency transients, which their bookshelf other design counterparts aren't really designed to do. When going from one studio to another, a good pair of near-field monitors and desktop monitors should provide repeatable results if their placement and environments are similar. Many recording engineers, including myself, will carry their own monitors with them from place to place because they know how they will sound in almost any room. You've played with them. You've put them in all kinds of different areas in different rooms. So when you go to a room where the, when you place them and where you place them, you have a good idea of how they're going to sound. Big studios use near-field monitors and desktop multimedia monitors to augment their larger monitoring systems. Okay, they've become a proven standard tool in the recording business. Let's talk about speaker installation. Like any speaker system, yours will work best when properly positioned in a suitable acoustic environment. Achieving proper speaker placement is usually a fairly straightforward process. However, even with near field and desktop monitors, speaker placements and the acoustic of the listening room are all too often overlooked and can become significant contributing factors in inaccurate and an uninspiring monitoring environment. And this is known as a dead room, and we're not talking about a dead room in a good way. So please stay with me and pay careful attention to this information. It will help you get the most use and enjoyment, okay, from your current near field or desktop monitoring environment. Let's move on to speaker placement and avoiding reflections. While near-field monitors and desktop multimedia monitors are fairly forgiving of the surrounding room acoustics, it's always a good practice to optimize the listening environment first whenever possible. That's, we're talking about treatments and such. First, you should be aware of the size and effect that the room is going to have on your low frequency response in general. The smaller room, of course, is going to give you a stronger bottom end, although a larger room, placement can also make a significant difference. This has to do with how low frequency waves travel in a closed space or closed spaces. If your monitoring system is either too light or heavy on the bottom end, try moving it around within your listening room. Experiment with it in order to get the best sound. Now, here's a point of note. If you have a case where your monitor's base port is located at the rear of the monitor, position the monitors at least 6 inches away from anything that would block that base port. It's important. Don't place these monitors inside of a bookshelf or in a closed chamber or, a closed chamber such as a wall shaft. Don't do that. These types of monitors are designed to work in a free space. So, otherwise, if you don't position them this way, the base frequency response will be adversely affected. Also, avoid locating your monitors near reflective surfaces such as glass, tile, or large open walls or tabletops, things like that. Still, many rooms that are used for recording also have these surfaces. Excuse me. So the best way to deal with them is to place these monitors, more out in the room, away from reflective walls, windows, and sizable objects. Okay, do the best you can in your room. It can make a difference. Now, if this isn't possible, if you don't have the space to be able to do this in your room, then treat the walls behind your monitors with acoustic foam, such as, a sound absorbing material like a moving blanket to kill any reflections. Even with these types of reflective surfaces, separated from the monitoring position, typical mixing situations still have top surface, areas such as like mixing consoles or PCs to deal with, in regards to reflections, especially if you're using a DAW and using a PC, if you're not using one of these. Now, unfortunately, a console or PC itself, like we talked about, can be a major source of reflections, and the additional acoustic conduction into a board, can affect your monitor's amplitude and or phase response. So with this, avoid placing your speakers directly on a console's meter bridge, or maybe too close to a PC, because this results in two different acoustic paths between the speakers and the recording engineer, causing undesirable combing effects and poor imaging. The first path is always the direct path. The second is via a reflection off the mixer's or the PC's surface and or related equipment. So speaker placement directly on the meter bridge, or like too close to or touching your PC monitor, couples the acoustic energy from the speaker's cabinet and more readily into the consoles or the PC's chassis. Okay, both conditions should be reduced by placing the speakers on their own stands. You want to make sure they're acoustically detached and slightly behind the console or the PC. Important. Let's move on to the listening triangle. Now, careful consideration should always be given to the physical spacing between the speakers. Many manufacturers recommend that the distance between the speakers equal the distance between the listener and either speaker. You get a triangle. In other words, the listener and the two speakers are three corners of an equilateral triangle. The image on the screen right now shows this concept. Note that both speakers are turned in somewhat so that the prime listening position is directly in front of each speaker. Applications that require monitoring by more than one engineer are accommodated by a smaller rotation of the cabinets. This will widen the prime listening position somewhat so that it's easier for two people to monitor. In summary, reference monitor placement and where your ears are physically during the final mixdown is critical and has a major impact on how you perceive your mix. If a monitor's placement is incorrect in your room, they can't function at the optimal level. And, they can't function the way that they're designed to function to give you the best impact. This often results in you making changes that negatively affect your production and adds an increased level of frustration to the overall process. So, with this, taking time to ensure the proper reference monitor setup and listening positions can be the difference between a good mix and a poor one. Well, that's about it. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. Also, click the subscribe button on your screen now and join our group. We have new videos coming out every 7 to 10 days, and we would love to have you be a part of our team. If you would like, and I would like to see it, leave a comment in the comment section below and let us know what you think about this video. While you're here, take a look at some of the other videos on the channel, listen to the music, and let us know what you think about that. Thanks so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you soon.